journey from Scrapster to there was one of the worst, if not the worst journey I'd ever made.
Oh.
Unpleasant people, foul weather, and an unruly sea that just would not be addressed.
Well, it's talking for us. It doesn't happen often.
Indeed, it was as if the very world beckoned me not to put my foot on that accursed rock in the North Sea.
I like the narration though. It's pretty dope.
And yet I went there, despite my better knowledge. A century ago, it was said that the island simply rose up from the immeasurable depths below. And on the very same day that the islanders celebrated 100 years of independence and isolation, I arrived. It was almost as if fate had predicted it.
Okay then. The drowned island. I believe this will be a little bit of horror, if I'm not mistaken. I guess no more narration and stuff now. I received a rude awakening as the fishing boat made port at a forlorn bridge when an audible thump. It seemed to be the place where people went to go if they had no desire to be found for the rest of their lives. The Scottish fisherman, who I reluctantly agreed to ferry me across from the mainland, gave me a dour look for one sunken eye. Okay. We have arrived at Rekia. After surveying my surroundings, the port was little more than a rickety bridge and a couple of abandoned shacks. The cliffs loomed over me like giants from some dark children's fairy tale. Heavy waves crashed against the rocky shores, and the scaries out in the deep waters. In the deeper waters. To think that there were people calling Rekia their home was beyond my understanding. This? I asked. It looks barely inhabited. This is it, fisherman continued. ThatSicklyPup confirmed. This is where I will leave you at. Rekia is no place for an old beach walker like myself. Beach watcher, I reflected. Once my business here is concluded, how will I be able to return? The fisherman shrugged. Ain't really my business, lad. If it were up to me, I would not sail within 100 miles of this wretched place. If you seem to be on an urgent matter, that's the key here. What are the locals, I asked? Is there anyone on the island who could take us back to Scrapsters? Fisherman shifted with discomfort and gazed around anxiously, almost as if he was worried that someone might be eavesdropping. You have to see how and for what reason this place was derelict. Not even the seagulls desired to land. You should not stay here for too long, lad, he said. Bad place. There's nothing else I have been hoping for, but I reckon that I had been talking long enough. It will be taking long enough of this time. As for his fear of the island, I can only assume that it stemmed from some sort of scholarly superstition or folklore. Folklore? Yeah. I tipped the brim of my hat in a respectful farewell to the fisherman as he readied his boat to leave for sea once more. Here on forward, I can only pray that one of the islanders had a boat that would be able to take me back to Scrapsters once my errand was concluded. Okay. One of the bridge poles had plenty of notches on it as if systematically carved with a knife. Have a key order. Okay. I suspect the village by the port was composed of a few buildings and in a state of near collapse. The shacks seemed to be abandoned, or at very least they gave the impression of being so. Small shacks all constructed from rotting wood and rock from the stony shore spoke lengths of their decrepit state. Never before had I felt so alone in the universe. I guess we'll go from left to right. There was no one answering as I knocked on the door. No, it's that one too. 3 strikes. Last one. As I knocked on the door, it became apparent that this island was indeed inhabited. A tall figure in a raincoat appeared before me, his face shrouded by shadows. Judging by his posture and wrapped up hands and neck, he seemed to be suffering from some sort of Magellan deformity. Who goes there? He asked in a cold, hissing voice, reminiscent to that of ice breaking. Should I lie? I guess. I guess I'll go more so the lying route. See how that goes. Traveling author. Earlier traveling author alive, and I've come here to a quaint island to gather inspiration from my book. Misshapen ship fisherman eyed me with suspicion. It was quite evident that he saw right through my lie, and yet he had nothing to remark. I really needed to become more persuasive in my career as an investigator. I see. He leaves. Perhaps you have any interesting stories you would be willing to share? I asked, hoping that I'd be able to smooth the obvious lie over with a more convenient one. It seemed to work. Perhaps, he grumbled, alongside the mainlander, and watch your step. Okay. I felt an unease entering the misshapen islander's cabin. I needed to be careful with what I said from here on out. Who could say whether or not it was wise for me to keep my true purpose here hidden? As my eyes adjusted to the dim light from the one window inside the dark cabin, I fully became aware of my surroundings. Inside there was a hearth, a couple of shelves, a table with a bench, and at the far back a door with iron fittings. There was the faint stench of fish and moldy bread in the damp air. Alter, he said. The islander spoke with his chilling voice. Not much to write about here on Itchio. But you already knew that the moment you stepped on the shore, didn't you? I felt a chill run down my spine. Either the man should have told me that he knew I had been lying, or he was just being honest. Itchio did not really seem to have much going on for it, after all. Certainly there must be something, I told the islander. What about local folklore, or history? History, eh? Islander wheezed. So yeah, if you're interested. That's the islander speak. While history was certainly interesting, it was not exactly the reason why I come here, but knowledge of the island's past would assist me in my search. We gotta go along with the line, so yeah. I did not see how it would hurt to know more about this island, and perhaps it would strengthen his trust in me, although I doubt it. Certainly, my good man, I told him. He motioned for me to take a seat by the table, which I politely did. He took a seat of his own. Itchio rose up from the sea on this very day 100 years ago. He wheezed. I could perceive a mighty grin coming from the shadow under the grimace. Okay, so he's fine. Those men of science back on the mainland would have you believe that it was the result of some natural occurrence. But there was nothing natural about it. One day it was not there, and the next day it was. Simple as that. Almost as if the old gods would see themselves gifted the island to mankind by raising the seabed from the depths. I tried not to question him about whatever these gods were. There could be no doubt these islanders were superstitious people, and I want to upset them further by showing my ignorance of their culture. The first people on Itchio were not settlers, he said. Prisoners, religious and political dissidents, along with criminals from the mainland. For every newcomer, they carved a notch into the bridge with a knife to keep track of how many new residents the island had received. What of the lighthouse? I asked. He blinked. What of the lighthouse? When was it built? How many lighthouses keepers have you had? And who is your current wiki? I need to get the matter of my investigation but remain discreet. The lighthouse was constructed around the same time that the first cabin started to bloom. Some officials from the mainland insisted that the populace needed one to keep the ships from running into these scurries. In all my years on the island, Seeing a total of 3 Rickies maintaining that darn light. This fellow named Kerwin is our current one. A mainlander, like yourself. I suppose that was meant as a slight. Would it be possible to speak to Mr. Kerwin? I asked. And I mentioned the fact that the news of Edward Kerwin's disappearance was the reason I had come to the island after being hired to investigate his whereabouts. Since a thin smile from his misshapen islander. At the moment, no. He is not well, you see. I furrowed my brow. I detect deceit. Well, that was a shame, but he is up at the lighthouse then. Alher did not answer. He rose up from the table and started to head toward the door at the back of his cabin. You could go up to the house yourself, mainlander, but I fear that it is locked and I would not know where the key is. How convenient. He is gone. I understand, I said, not fully believing that. I'm just looking after me old sweetheart now. You could help myself to some tea and bread before you leave, mainlander. I nodded understanding and watched as he slipped in through the darkness beyond the door, locking it behind him. Before leaving here, there was certainly the opportunity to do some investigation of my own. The man was hiding something from me. There. The lingering scent of fish and charcoal stemmed from the hearth. Nothing of any particular interest. But on the shelf there was a few books gathering dust, being quite old and the primary topic concerning navigation and sea life. Nothing of interest. A note tucked behind the books read as following. Runner's Point, midnight. Do not forget. As I investigated the clay pattern on display, it became evident that there was something hidden behind them. I know, okay. Oh, that's too convenient. I wonder where this could lead. Something near the craft somewhere nearby. Appeared to be nothing on the other side of the iron-fitted door as far as I could see. And again, it was incredibly dark. Yet somehow I could sense that there was something stirring on the other side. Okay. Some eyes. Yeah, let's get out. Maybe something. Something. Oh, baby. A lot of things going on with this island, apparently. Oh, dang, I didn't know idea this was a demo. Okay. Well, yeah, that's the end of the demo for the Drowned Island. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and, of course, this demo. Of course, if you did and you want to, you know, play the full game for yourself, everything will be in the description below so you can follow the game and future updates for that. But if you enjoyed this video, of course, you know, like, comment, share, and subscribe. You know, like the video, doesn't hurt to, you know, hit the like button. We'll appreciate that. But yeah, so the Drowned Island, this was actually really good. And I was trying to finish it, but I had no idea it was a demo. But yeah, so hopefully y'all had a good day. Be up there tomorrow, and I will catch y'all on the next video.